would you tell someone if they came up and asked you who was the Holy Spirit, or who you thought the Holy Spirit was? In particular, what would you tell a non-believer, somebody who didn't know Christ, somebody who wasn't going to church, somebody who wasn't following the Lord? If they came up to you and said, "Who's this Holy Spirit Christians believe in, you believe in, your church believes in," what would you say? Most people, most Christians, most believers, a lot of Sunday school teachers, deacons, even pastors out there wouldn't have a good response to that question. The Holy Spirit is a foreign thing to a lot of Christians today. Previously, in Volume 1 of the Absolute Basics of Christianity, you studied about God and you studied about Jesus in the week on I Am, and we spent 2 days looking at God and 2 days looking at Jesus. This week, in week 19, you're going to take a whole week, 4 days, 4 lessons, and study the Holy Spirit. There are several reasons I wanted to give a little more time to the Holy Spirit. First reason is we tend to know more about God and more about Jesus than the Holy Spirit. We don't have a lot of things to compare the Holy Spirit to. The Holy Spirit isn't talked about a lot because pastors and churches and Christians in general have this view that if they come out and talk about the Holy Spirit, they'll automatically be labeled Pentecostals or charismatics. Not that those are bad terms, but just in some Christian circles and denominations, talking about the Holy Spirit has seemed to be a little bit too charismatic or too Pentecostal. And so we don't talk about the Holy Spirit a lot. But in reality, the Holy Spirit is a vital an incredibly important part of a believer's life, especially today in the modern era of the church. For the Holy Spirit is what we have today to guide us. Jesus was crucified, he was buried, he was sealed in a tomb, he rose from the dead, he spent some more time on planet Earth. But then in the book of Acts, he goes back to heaven there in chapter 1. So he's no longer here in his physical presence, in his physical body, with us. Yeah, God walked with Adam and Eve in the garden and did some incredible things in the Old Testament, but we don't see God walking with us in the garden in his physical presence here any longer. But instead, Jesus said he was going to send us a counselor. He was going to send us a helper. He was going to send us the Holy Spirit to guide us and be with us throughout our days in the modern era, in the modern church. So that's what we're going to study about this week. We're going to look at the work of the Holy Spirit in the Old Testament. We're going to look at the work of the Holy Spirit in the New Testament. And then we're going to talk about the role of the Holy Spirit in the life of a New Testament believer today in the modern era. So I think it'll be an interesting study for you. Open your mind. Forget any preconceptions you have about the Holy Spirit. Look up the Scriptures. Think about it. Be prepared to talk and discuss with your small group about the Holy Spirit. Bring your questions and see if you can discover the answer with people. Next week we're going to be talking about the Trinity. So we're going to be bringing what we've learned about Jesus and what we've learned about God and what we've learned about the Holy Spirit all together as we talk about the Trinity. So I would also encourage you to take a little bit of time, maybe on day 5 or day 6, of this week where you don't have a study, to just go back and read through your notes in the week on I Am, where we looked at Jesus and God, to refresh your memory and to prepare your heart, more importantly, for what we're going to study next week as we talk about the Trinity. I think you'll be blessed this week. I think you'll learn a lot. And my prayer is by the end of this week's lessons, you will be able to give an account. You will be able to give an answer to anyone who asks you who the Holy Spirit is and what the Holy Spirit does in your life. God bless you as you study about the Holy Spirit, and again, be prepared to talk about it with your group here in just a few days. We'll see you soon.